welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, but I would like to start with the S&P 500 here. And the situation here is that we're looking at wave 3 here, which we can also be looking at the same basic pattern within the European markets as well. So from here, we have an A wave, a B wave in 3, and a C wave here in 5 waves. So what I was proposing, if this low here stays in place, then we'll see the markets push up from that point. If this low is broken from here, then, well, the S&P will be obviously moving down, but then that's going to put pressure on the European markets as well. So that low here is really significant, okay? So just keep that in mind. In some of the European markets, I've already got wave 4, wave 5 top in place, and in other ones we're still considering this being wave 4 down through to here. So yeah, this will be a bit of a guide stick here, and of course with the European side of things, we've got the exit Brexit on the 12th, so need to bear that in mind as well. So we've had a nice run up with the European markets, and it's kind of like you know, buy the rumour, sell the fact type of situation, really, a bit of a new thing. So this count that I've got on the DAX here, this count moving up through here, it can be counted in different ways. It could be counted in terms of, even quite simply, if I bring my end of day charting program over here, when I look at it from this point here, I can see we've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then the 5th wave up to this point here. So 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Then that leaves us with an expanded flat correction in here. So it's kind of a little bit weird having expanded flat correction of this degree of structure within wave 1 and 2. But it can be counted 5 waves from here, and then a correction to here. And then also 5 waves up here in terms of 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here and 4 here, and 5 here with a correction. And then we've got this leg here, but this leg here overlaps this one here. So it does appear that the whole thing up here is corrective, but when you look at the other European markets, you know, France and the Netherlands and the UK, it's more like an impulse wave to the upside. So yeah, most of this would be the common count going up to the moving up from the Christmas run in most markets. So that's why I've kind of got it like it is at the moment. But our main job has really been counting 5 waves from here moving up through to here. And as I just mentioned, in the US markets, that wave 3 and 4 is this one in through here. So it's possible that we've got still one more move to the upside before we get a correction here. So let's just stay with what we know within this space here. And this is what it looks like here. So in a bit of a nutshell here, if we grab the low of wave 2, which should be in here roughly, and to here, it leaves the 38.2% retracement level here on this one. So we could say that at the 38.2, let's just say that if the market turns more bearish, I wouldn't personally turn bearish unless the 11,800 became the retested resistance. Okay, so if that became, and trading below it's not resistance, it needs to go back up there and have that reference point low. So it needs to, as an example here, just come down to a level, bounce back off it, then come through, and it can go straight up from that point, but that becomes our reference point low. And if the retest of this number here fails, then that's the trigger to the downside. So just treat that as 11,800 here. So let's just observe all of this here for the time being. And on the hourly chart here, it just looks a little bit like this. I'm not too fast because we've had our trade to the upside here, and we've been taken profit and stopped out and all those sort of things. So, and you may even be short here at the moment based on this level through here. So that's that's fine. So in that case, in terms of having a stop in the market, so if you were short up there, let's just look at this here. So let's just use that low at the moment. But if this keeps continuing to move down, then obviously move that down here. But currently the 50-60% retracement level is here. So really we want to leave the stop above that area here for the time being. Okay, that would save you from, if the market was going to move down much further, then that would save you from a whole series of 1s and 2s at that stage. This does look like a bit of a third wave down here, so we could look at this as a fourth wave bounce coming back up off here. So it's possible once that low is in place here, you can come back up into this space before moving down into this space here. Okay. So France is much the same, if I can just bring France across here on the hourly chart, except that this little sharp move up here made a new high here above this one here, and that also occurred on the cash market. So I kind of have to respect that a little bit. So as you know, we were counting 1 and 2 here, and we were long through this section here. I think we took part profit in here, but we've been stopped out here. I haven't put a short trade in this one, but as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4 and then up for wave 5 here. So this would make wave, this, I mean, maybe we can get some sort of a ABC out of this down to this point here as this wave 4, and we still make one more high here. But we also have to have a look at the short side as well. So I just want a little bit of strategy here. So being this a high here, this would be wave 1 and 2, a nice strong third wave down here, and fourth wave and fifth wave will be coming in down here. It could come a bit lower. But once we've got that reference point low in here, then let's just wait for the rally here as an A and a B and a C. And if that's the case, we can just draw a line across it, and then if the market's going to move down from that point, then we can just short it through the line at that stage there. I don't think the tick chart helps us much more in this. Yeah, this is where I've got the A, the B, and the C from here for the top here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And yeah, I mean, I haven't figured all this out in here, but it'll be close to this. So it's possible if we do have the bear market, and this can be used for the other markets as well, the DAX and so on, but an A and a B and a C back up here, and then we can look to short that. But this could also just move straight up here. But the reason I haven't labeled that is because it's made this one here as the high there. Well, I think that's the case, so I'll just double check on this. But it was on the cash market. Yeah, you can just, not by a lot, it's not like a big, and wave 4s can do that. We could look at this here as an A wave here, an A and a B and a C here for the B wave, and down for the C wave here to have wave 4 down here. That certainly can be the case as well. I'm just not quite sure yet. I just allow it to because we'll be trading against the trend, we really need to know for sure. But if this becomes a little A, B, and C back up to the 50-60% mark, then we can look to short, draw lines straight through that, as I mentioned here on the hourly chart here. So we're just waiting for that ABC back up here to short that, if that's going to be the case. But it could move straight up from here, so I'm not quite sure about that. And also too, the MIB has got more of a top in actually, so just find Italy here. So in this case here, I was looking at 1 and 2, as you know, then 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, you could put 3 here, but it just doesn't give me the 5 waves in this sequence. That's the problem with that. Otherwise, we could look at this as being a wave. But also here we've got a clean top here as well. So we've got that, the DAX didn't make that new high here. So this could also be an impulse wave here as well. So once again, we need to wait for this down. If that's 5 waves down here, we'll just give it some time, and there should be some sort of correction back up 50 or 60% here, and if that's the case, then we can come across here and short that. So we just don't have that set up yet for that. And also the UK market as well. Oops, wrong market, sorry. So with the UK market, we've been looking at the low down here in terms of 1 and 2 here. And I'm kind of okay with this, you know, it's a bit scrappy, but the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third and the fourth here. And last time we spoke, we were in here somewhere. We could see that we had 1 and 2 here and 3 here. So we're looking for a wave 4, but this wave 4 seems to be an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, and then up for wave 5 here. So in this case, it appears we've got a top in here. So in this case, we could just short this low here on the cash market. Okay, so and also when I mentioned the S&P 500 making a new low there, you'd kind of want that to occur. So we know that the S&P is going to move lower, and then this one can move lower as well here, and we'll need to keep the stop out of the way for this. Just keep it out of the way here for a moment. Just a small trade in here because we're trading against the trend. And secondly, I mean, here I've got all my 5 waves in here, so I don't really have a problem with this. But if I was wrong here for whatever reason, then this would be the wave 4. That if there was going to be a stopping point, that's where it would be on the wave 4 low over here as such. So yeah, let's see. I mean, the Brexit's on the 12th, and I haven't watched the news for the last sort of 3 days. News is not really my thing unless it's entertaining. So I'm not sure where they're up to with that, but yeah, one way or another. Yeah, I can't really add much more to this really. See, in this case here, we've got this is the what's the name? So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1 and wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5 here. So in this case, we've actually already got the 5 waves down here. So taking out this low here, then that would be the catalyst to the downside here. I mean, at this stage, this could be counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here with an A and a B and a C here. I don't think it's the case, but no, it doesn't even count very well like that. No. If you can't figure it out, the other thing to do here is the 74 here is the closest largest number. Then you can go short once that becomes the resistance. I mean, on the upside here too, if the market was going to become very bullish, then being long on top of group 1 would be the case. So 74.30 tested support here, or taking out that high here if that was the long trade. But you'd need to be careful because of the resistance would be at 74.50 here, and obviously all these old highs and things through here would play out here as the resistance. So from 3 to 5, that's where you'd trade long from and get out and wait. And if 5 became the support, well, then naturally trade long again. So we trade the levels and we trade support and resistance, and we use Elliott wave to help us with the direction. That's all. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.